All right, let's jump right in. We're breaking down the brand new 2025 Cost of a Data Breach report. Now, for the last 20 years, this report has pretty much been the gold standard for understanding cyber threats. And this year, well, this year it's all about the one technology that's changing everything: artificial intelligence.
So the big headline this year is, well, it's actually good news, for a change. For the first time in 5 whole years, the global average cost of a data breach has actually gone down, landing at $4.44 million. And that's a pretty big deal. It seems like it's mostly because companies are getting way faster at finding and stopping these attacks.
So that's got to make you wonder, right? After all these years of watching these numbers just climb and climb, you have to ask, are the good guys finally getting the upper hand? Is the tide actually turning?
Well, not so fast. See, that global average is actually hiding a much crazier story. Because while the average for the whole world went down, the average cost of a breach right here in the United States absolutely exploded, hitting a new all-time high of $10.22 million. So what gives? How can both of these things be true?
Okay, to really get to the bottom of this, we first have to figure out why those global costs dropped at all. And the answer really comes down to one thing: AI.
The secret sauce here, the reason for that global dip, it's all about speed. It's that simple. Organizations are just getting better at figuring out they've been hit and then putting a lid on the damage much, much faster. And in this game, speed saves money.
In fact, check this out. The average time to find and fix a breach is down to 241 days. That is the lowest it's been in 9 years. And what's making that happen? The report is super clear on this. It's the massive adoption of security AI and automation that's giving defenders this much-needed leg up. But here is the catch, and it's a big one. AI isn't some secret weapon that only the good guys get to use. At the very same time that security teams are using AI to build bigger walls, attackers are using it to build more powerful cannons. And this brings us right to the heart of the whole report, what it calls the AI arms race. AI is, at the exact same time, our most powerful shield for defense and the most dangerous new sword for attack.
So you have to ask yourself, in this fight, is AI a friend or a foe? And the answer, as you've probably guessed, is yes, it's both. And that's what makes this so incredibly complicated. Let's break down what that actually looks like.
Just look at this contrast. It's a total paradox. On one side, companies that go all in on defensive AI save a staggering $1.9 million per breach. They also slash the whole incident timeline by 80 days. But then you look at the other side. Attackers are already using AI in a solid 1 out of every 6 breaches, and they're using it to power this whole new generation of attacks.
And how are they using it exactly? Well, the data tells a pretty scary story. A whopping 37% of these attacks are for making these incredibly convincing phishing emails that are almost impossible to tell from the real thing. And hot on its heels, at 35%, are deepfake attacks, using AI to impersonate a CEO or a coworker to trick someone into wiring money or giving up a password. But here's where the report really flips the script. The threat from attacker AI is real, no doubt, but it's not actually the biggest danger. The real ticking time bomb is the AI we're all rushing to use ourselves and completely failing to secure.
This brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from this whole thing, something the report calls the AI oversight gap. This is this massive, dangerous blind spot we create when we adopt AI without thinking about security and governance from day one.
And get ready for this number, because it is absolutely wild. Of the companies that had a breach involving their own AI systems, 97% of them had one thing in common. They didn't have basic access controls in place. They basically bought a brand new sports car and just left the keys in the ignition with the doors unlocked.
You know, a huge piece of this puzzle is a term called shadow AI. This is something we've probably all seen happen. It's when your employees start using AI tools to get their work done, but they do it without any approval or any supervision from the IT or security folks. It's like a secret, unmonitored backdoor into your company's most sensitive data.
And this isn't just some hypothetical risk. It has a real, painful price tag. Breaches that happen at companies where shadow AI is running wild cost an extra $670,000 on average. That's a huge penalty for not knowing what's happening under your own roof. And if you're wondering why shadow AI is so widespread, well, the reason is pretty straightforward. There's a massive governance gap. The majority of companies that got breached, we're talking 63%, admit they have zero formal policies for managing AI risk. They're just flying blind.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty bleak, right? But it's not all doom and gloom. The report doesn't just point out the problems, it actually gives us a really clear action plan for how to fight back and close this dangerous gap.
First up, you've got to fortify your identities. This means you treat AI agents just like people, with strong passwords and strict access rules. Next, you have to lock down the data that these AI models are feeding on, using basic fundamental stuff like classification and encryption. Third, and this is huge, you've got to get your security and governance teams talking to each other. They can't be in their own little worlds anymore. They have to work together to find and wrangle all that shadow AI. And finally, it all comes full circle. You have to use AI to fight AI. It's really the only way. To keep up with AI-powered attacks, you need AI-powered defenses.
And so, at the end of the day, it really all boils down to this one critical question for you and your organization. In this crazy escalating AI arms race, are you actually arming your defenders with the tools and the rules they need to win? Or are you just leaving the gates wide open to the fastest, smartest threat we have ever faced?